Hi Aquarius, welcome to your 2019 reading. Thank you for being so patient with it. I know it's the middle of March. I'm fully aware. So the cool thing about this is we're going to do the energy for January for each month. So you guys can look and see where you were in January and February and where you are currently, presently in March. And then we'll look in the future for April, May, and June. And if you would like to get the extended to see what the rest of your year was like, I didn't do this last year. You can check the description box below. You can get the extended on my website, or you can get the extended on Vimeo, or you can become a patron on Patreon, where you can get the extended for all of the signs, as well as the soulmate reading extendeds for every month. So yeah, the Patreon stuff is kind of a big advantage because you get everything every month. And you can have all of the extendeds for the 2019s, and the extendeds for the 2019s you can get in a playlist as well on Vimeo or my website. Okay? All right. So we're going to pick an overall, I have all the major arcanas from one deck. We're going to pick an overall overall energy for each month. And then we will clarify each month with tarot. So let's see where you were in January of this year. January, February, March, and then we'll look into April, May, and June, since I can't believe we're already like the first quarter of the year is almost over. It's kind of crazy to think about. So January, we have, the Wheel of Fortune. Things are a-changing. February, there you are, the Star. March, we have the Chariot. So things feel like they're starting to move a little bit, which is interesting since we're in Mercury retrograde. And then we have the Fool for April, the Hierophant for May, and the Hermit for June. Okay, I will pick July through December major arcanas, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what the extended is going to look like to see if you want to get it. So let's look and see the energies for January. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Let's see. For Aquarius, I feel like something shifted in January. January felt like an entire year, really. Like January 2019 really felt like an entire year. But there were some, like, with you guys, it felt like things started kind of moving forward. Things started changing in a positive way, going more in a positive direction. And yeah, there was definitely a change that happened. And I feel like with Strength and the Death card, it was almost, this transformation had to happen because it brought you, kind of brought you back to square one. It grounded you in some way, shape, or form. Gave you a little bit of extra strength for you. So then we have the 10 of Pentacles and the 5 of Swords. There was definitely a shift that happened. It had to do with your stability. The 5 of Swords for me is like, where are you lying to yourself? And if you do feel like you're lying to yourself in some way, shape, or form, like things aren't as good as they really are, or if you felt like you were lying to yourself in some way, things are actually much better than your perception was in January. I feel like something happened towards the end of January that kind of gave you this sense of insecurity in some way. But you gained some clarity with the Ace of Swords. I think that you realized that something had to change, that you had to approach a situation, an outcome, a relationship, a person in a different way. You had to, and there might have been some friendships that had to end, some new friendships came in possibly, but there was definitely a change in perspective when it came to how you were feeling about yourself and where you really felt like you were going and how things were happening. Okay. And yes, I do feel like there was some kind of stability issue here. the outlook when it came, like, I feel like there was a relationship that you kind of once relied on, or there was some kind of relationship that you once relied on that just wasn't as stable as you thought it was. It looked really, really good on the outside, or things were looking really, really good on the outside, but something had to change. And that doesn't mean that the relationship was over. Some of you, it could have been the end to a third party situation, and you actually like are now in a relationship. I don't want you to lie to yourself and think that you have to hold on to this really, really tightly in order to keep it. Because I think that it's actually more stable than you think it is. It's not necessarily like you guys thought it was going to go one way and it didn't go that way, and something else kind of came along, stirred you up a little bit, and brought in actually something better than you previously thought it was. And it doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship. This could be a really good close friendship too. Like you thought you were really good friends with somebody, that relationship had to end. There was some kind of like struggle or something within it, and now you're able to ground yourself. It could be that it's a romantic relationship, but it doesn't have to be, okay? So something definitely shifted in January. Let's see what February looks like. So we have the star for February. Okay, so there was some kind of, the Tower. The shift that happened, and then the Four of Swords. So the shift that happened really rocked you to your core and made you kind of pull back and take a good look at everything. The Four of Swords for me is cutting ties with the idea of the way we think things are supposed to go and looking at them in a different way while in meditation. Now, I say the Four of Swords for me. I know a lot of people look at the Four of Swords differently, but in order for you to really recognize where you're supposed to be going in life, you had to get quiet. You had to pull back from the world. You had to reevaluate, reassess some situations, reassess some things in your life. And I think that this was probably kind of something that needed to occur in order for you to get going on your path. It's because it wasn't stable to begin with. The Tower is always like, this is course correction. And then we have the Chariot for March. So you had to get back on course in some way. Something didn't pan out in the way that you wanted it to. The star is kind of that, guiding light. Like, this is really what I wanted it to be, kind of thing. So something didn't pan out the way that you wanted it to pan out. And now you're recognizing that the way that you can make things stable is really on your own. Even if you are in a relationship, the Nine of Pentacles is like that independence card, like being independent, getting things done on your own, not really needing other people around in order to guide you or get you there. But it can get kind of lonely. Like if you look at that person in that Nine of Pentacles card, it can get kind of lonely doing things on your own, but you're really recognizing that it had to happen. Whatever was said to you, there was something that was said to you in February with the Page of Wands and the Ten of Wands. It was a burden, or, like things that were said, messages that were said, things that happened, whatever came to you at this time really forced you into a period of rest and kind of being on your own. Because I think that you had to recognize that the burden that you were carrying, the burden that was lifted there, that you were like holding on to, it really didn't need to be a burden. And then we have Judgment, and the universe is trying to say, I know the direction you're supposed to be going in. You have to trust me right now. You have to allow me to come in, have a little bit of faith, know that you're being taken care of. If you look at this Judgment card, look, there's that hand with kind of a baby eyedropper there, or like a baby dropper, medicine dropper. Like the universe is literally taking care of this guy, and it's time for that to happen. So you had to rest. The universe is trying to bring you to victory. The universe is trying to get you to rise above and be your best, be the best version of who you are, right? So really allow that to happen. The only way that you're going to be able to let that happen is if you drop your burdens and you kind of take a time out and you go within. And I feel like that's what you had to do in February. So if you were one of the Aquarians that really did take a time out and allowed yourself to rest, recharge, then and allow the universe to take care of you, you're getting opportunities and going in new directions now. In March, I do feel like there's you need to trust. This is all happening in divine timing for you. And you need to trust, and you also need to lean on the people that you can trust the most. So yeah, see, we have the Sun and we have the Strength card again. It's a very heavy Leo energy. You could be dealing with a Leo right now. And we have the Three of Cups. So, and the Three of Cups for me doesn't have to be a third party situation. For me, sometimes it's like celebrations. It's getting together with friends. It's having a good time. You know, so, whoa, I just shook the table trying to, that was, so if you're, so funny. If you are kind of feeling the heat right now, like this is all about new beginnings. March is all about new beginnings. And I know Mercury retrograde makes a lot of people just kind of want to stay indoors and not do anything. But the sun is out, spring is coming. Things are really, really starting to happen. And I think in order for you to gain that karmic balance in your life, it's for you to see that you are being taken care of. This is actually a very good time for you in March. And I do remember the Aquarius reading was better than some of the other ones. So just don't think so much through it. You got to feel your way through it, because the Chariot is, we've got the Chariot again on strength. Like it's really, really time for you to pursue your dreams and like what you want to do. I feel like there's and you could be actually moving during this time too. Hold on one second. But you have to allow yourself to dream big right now. You have to allow yourself to kind of get that, yeah, like make it happen. You know, don't just sit back and wait for things to come to you right now. Because with the Magician, you could also be dealing with a Cancer energy, a Libra energy, or a Virgo or Gemini. You could be traveling too. It doesn't have to be moving, but it could be traveling. But I do feel like you are kind of in charge of the way that things are going to start happening. And so I want you to allow that energy. I want you to let that energy happen for you. Because I think that in March, the biggest thing is if we get too complacent and we're just like, it's Mercury retrograde, I'm not going to do anything about this, blah, 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 it can get almost like stagnant. Like that's how we become stagnant, is when we stop trying. And so I kind of feel like you're the one that's in charge of everything here in order to get things moving and get things going in motion. You're the one that kind of takes the reins. Now remember, with the Chariot, you can take the reins, but it all happens in divine timing. We have to remember that the universe is ultimately in charge. We can take detours, but April, you're starting new adventures in April with the Fool. And I feel like this is right on track. It has to deal with a lot of karma. Again, I do feel this moving vibe, like you're thinking about moving, or you're wanting to move, or you're wanting to take a vacation or something. So we have Judgment, and we have the 10 of Pentacles again, and we have the 6 of Swords. There is this thought process of like, where's my stability? Where do I belong? And it's going to take a leap of faith for you to get there. It's going to take you trusting the universe, that the universe knows all the plans that you need, you know. It's opportunities coming in, and you being like, your eyes are wide open and aware of what's coming to you and what you're supposed to be doing, where you're supposed to be going. So we have the Ace of Wands on Judgment, and this is April, guys, remember. So next month, there are some big opportunities. There's a lot of movement here, Aquarius. It feels so much like there's a lot of talk and communication about your house or your home or your stability or where you want to go and what you want to be doing. There could be a lot of traveling that's happening in April. But, and then we have the Six of Swords. You have to rely on your intuition. Rely on what feels best for you. You cannot concern yourself, right? There's this karmic balance that you're trying to obtain, you're trying to establish within your life right now. And you can't think about what's best for everybody else and how that's going to, like, how your actions are going to affect other people. Like, I understand that if it's your family, if it's your kids, if it's your husband, if it's your wife, like whatever, yes, your actions will affect those people, but you also have to understand and know and kind of feel, you know, what's best for me, what's going to be good for me, how is my life and my standards, how is that growing, and what can I do to make things like more karmically balanced for me too. Because too often we think of other people and not enough about ourselves. And I'm not saying that in a selfish way. I'm saying that in a way where you really have to allow yourself to grow as a soul without worrying about how this is going to affect so-and-so or how this is going to affect so-and-so. Does that make sense? And I feel like April's kind of that month because you're getting opportunities and the universe is like, hello, here's your opportunity. And then we have May, which is the Hierophant. So this has to do also with society. I feel like there are ways that you were thinking of, like, I have to be this certain way or I have to be this certain way because of societal standards. Could be dealing with a fire sign. Could be the ending of relationships possibly, but we have the Queen of Wands, we have the Death card, and the Four of Swords. I don't want you to jump to conclusions, or I don't want you to, I want you to think about it first. I want you to really rest and allow yourself to think about the effect of, like, because I feel like some things are falling away. You're coming into a time of great change where you're seeing how your societal standards or the standards that you've always had in your life, they were one way and now they're changing. And this could be something that's happened to you a couple of times. Like, Aquarius doesn't sit well with society standards anyways, but sometimes we can get stuck into a comfortable position in life and often think about, you know, this is what we have to do in order to survive, or in order to, you know, for people to see that we're responsible or see that we're like a certain type of person. Something has to change right now in your life because you have this lack mentality of, you know, why do things like never work out for me, or why, you know, something's got to change. There are things that you need to let go of. And why are you holding on so much to certain aspects of your life when in reality, allowing yourself to open up and to expand in other ways may really, really benefit you. There is a cycle that you're ending with a fire sign, it seems. And it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a relationship that's over, anything like that, but you're not feeling very good about it. We have the World on the Queen of Wands. So, and the World talks about the ending of cycles. It just talks about cycles in general, but this is the very last major arcana in the deck. So in order for you to get to the Fool and start new, start fresh all over again, you have to get to the end of the cycle first. So there is some kind of cycle ending with a fire sign, particularly because it's like they contribute to your lack mentality. And talking about the Fool, we have the Fool over here on the Four of Swords. You know something has to change, Aquarius. See? The ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. So we have this Four of Swords here a lot. So I feel like some Aquarians really need to meditate and allow themselves to gain some clarity. Think of things in a different way. If the relationship isn't going to end, something about the relationship has to end. Can't be the same as it was before. Really have to allow yourself to change that. Okay. And for June, we have the Hermit. So you could be dealing with a Virgo energy, or you are just going inward, getting quiet, allowing yourself to get quiet, knowing that you have this new beginning that happened in May. And I feel like there's this stability that you've been searching for, and I feel like there's somebody that's trying to offer it to you. So we have the Six of Swords again, we have the Ten of Pentacles, and we have the Knight of Cups. So there's some kind of stability that somebody is trying to offer you, but I think that you're like, I really want to get balanced in my life before I move to this stable offer. And yeah, there's this because I kind of feel like this offer is something that you really have been waiting for a really long time. You need to get into a better place within yourself. Like, I feel like there's this need to know what your standards are and where you belong, where you are allowing yourself to be small, and where you're allowing yourself to be big, and where you're not allowing yourself to be big. Because the Empress here on the Six of Swords is saying, in order for you to get to a calmer existence in your life, you need to understand the value of who you are. The Empress is extremely valuable. And I mean, you can be a man and still have Empress qualities. We all have the divine feminine within us, right? Some men even are more divine feminine than masculine. But this has everything to do with this, your stability. The Ten of Pentacles can kind of be an illusion unless you have that stability within yourself first, right? And you have this, like I said, I feel like there's a big offer here. And it could be coming from a Virgo, it could be coming from a Libra or a Taurus, but there's this offer here of great, great stability and great abundance that's coming to you. But I almost feel like you need to get humble for it, or you need to allow yourself to know that you deserve, like all the things that have happened to you in the past, they didn't turn out because there was something that was so much bigger waiting for you, just around the bend, right? So then we have the Knight of Cups. I'm curious if there might be a Scorpio energy in your life as well, but there's this end to, this big transformation on what it is that you really want in your life, what kind of offers you really want to have in your life. The transformation is huge when it comes to what your stability means to you. And I feel like that's kind of what 2019 is for Aquarius. It's like, I've been relying on myself to be a certain way for a very long time, but I know that I'm different than everybody else. So I can't go along with the norms. I can't go along with what society standards are. And I have to allow myself to break free of that and be my own person. And the Empress is always her own person, right? So June feels like, what does the Ten of Pentacles mean? Like, going within and asking yourself, what does the Ten of Pentacles mean for me? What does this movement forward, this great new beginning that I really see in front of me, what does that mean for me? And is it up to my standards? And that, I mean, like, in a moral way, not in a physical 3D kind of way. It's very much in a moral way. So I really, really like that. I think that there's a lot of inner guidance that you're searching for at the beginning of the year. So let's see. I'm just like shedding like crazy. Sorry. Let's see what we have for the next 6 months for your extended. We have the Sun for July. That's awesome. I think some clarity is coming. And then we have Justice for August. We have the Death card for September. October is the Tower. Heavy Scorpio energy. November is the Magician, and December is Strength. Cool. Very cool. So it looks like there's some clarity that's coming on, and then you're going to have a really big shift and change some things. I feel like the Death card in the beginning of the year, how it kept on coming up, was because you need to know that there's this transition that's happening within you. And if you don't allow the transition to happen, this Tower moment in October can be worse than what you want it to be. So allow the things to change and allow the transition to happen as we go into the rest of the year, because then I feel like after this Tower moment happens in October, there's a lot of manifestation and really big, amazing things coming up at the end of the year. Remember, Tower moments don't have to be bad. It's not total destruction as long as you're working with the energy and not against it. So, all right, Aquarius, I'll see you guys for the extended. I love you so much. Bye.